Dear Shads, I've set out in search of peace, through pathways I've never been. Just an honest companion with me, to take me through things I've never seen. Sometimes there is a way, in others I make my own. But the love for exploration takes me out courageously into the unknown. Exploration is a big part of motorcycling lifestyle. The power to take roads that are rarely taken gives a lot of thrill, and if I'm being honest, something shared by a lot of motorcyclists. But today, my exploration has a deeper purpose. I was here to gain a long understanding of the Brixton Crossfire 500 XC, a motorcycle that oozes the passion of being free in this constricted world. The compass is embodied in its very personality, begging to go out and explore the world. So, in order to see whether it has what it takes to explore, I set out to challenge the motorcycle to some hard, treacherous routes, which if taken, will take you to some of the most beautiful places your eyes can view. This is the Treacherous exploration featuring Brixton Crossfire 500 XC. It's 3 o'clock at night, we are about to start. I know we are a little late, but then a very interesting ride that's gonna go ahead, and it will be on roads that have not been taken or are not taken for some reason. But then the bike's ready, we are ready. Let's see what happens. We started from Kohlapur in the darkness. It was a lot colder than I expected, but thankfully I had a strong headlight and a strong will to keep me going. Just as we left Kohlapur, we were gifted with the first gift of exploration. It is one of my favorite roads in Maharashtra. It is stunning, laden with a beautiful tarmac and has pristine corners. Today we were taking the road at night, and that was a challenge of exploration within itself. However, as the sun started to come up, the air started to warm up and become more saltier. Amazing waves, amazing view. And yes, we have finally reached the coast, as you can see. Can't get more real than this. And yes, we have taken a few detours, we have taken roads practically not taken. If you can see the amount of dust that I have on my gear right now, yeah, we have taken some really nasty roads. But then it's all about exploration, it's all about, lifestyle. And this is what the 500XC is all about. Just taken aback. The suspension is taking quite a beating, but it is coming out on top. I am not having a problem with the grip because of the Scorpion tires. And yes, the exploration has just started, because from here onwards, we'll be taking the coastal route and we'll be scaling up all the way to Bombay. A pretty exciting journey, a pretty exciting lifestyle to have. I am not much of an exploring guy, but this motorcycle is letting me explore roads or, conditions that I've never thought of before. And yeah, and it's taking all of those beatings quite happily. I am not being light on the motorcycle, let me be very honest, and I think if you play a few roles, you will be able to understand. Up until now, the bike has been comfortable. I have not been having much of an issue. But yeah, let's see what happens next. Said the coastal route, but as it turns out, I had something different in mind. It was time to see if the motorcycle could take it, so I took it out on treacherous roads. But I had more questions. What is Brixton? What is this motor house? And what does Brixton mean to the people who are making it happen here? To get all the answers, I broke into someone's house. Hello sir, welcome to BVC TopGear India.
Thank you Akash, how are you?
All good, how are you doing?
Great, Absolutely.
Amazing place, amazing place.
Thank you so
It's
much.
been done with quite a good design, I must say. And
you.
since we have a problem of breaking into people's houses, I think we'll be doing the interview here. Without the use of the words motorcycling, VLF, Motorhouse, Brixton, who is Tushar Shelke?
Well, to give you a little history about my family first. So we are primarily we've been into manufacturing for the last 60 plus years, and I think I'm the fourth generation in the business now who is actually our core is manufacturing. We've been supplying to the sugar industry for the last 65, 70 odd years, and my great grandfather was also his name was Mahatma Mistry, popularly known as Mahatma Mistry. And he was the one who was also felicitated by Jawaharlal Nehru during the World War II for his work in engineering back then. And talking about me, I've always been passionate about the automobiles, and I think since my childhood, be it cars, bikes, that was always been my passion, to do something in the automotive industry. And of course, since manufacturing, that has been our core. And since we also have had an experience of retailing of certain superbike brands for the last 7-8 years, that's how we or particularly I decided to start with Moto House and get two brands to India, one of which is Brixton and another one is VLF. And yeah, automobile and motorcycling is in my blood, so that's who I am.
So an automobile junkie who's out there to destroy the market, let's say.
Trying to.
What does Motorhouse mean according to you? Or how would you explain Motorhouse to someone?
So when we started initially, this is almost 3 years back I'm talking, the whole intention was to get good global brands to India, to make global brands more accessible to our audience. And the question was that how can we get these brands to India? That is one. Which brand to get to India? That is second. And if we get those brands, how do we sell it? What should be the the retail format for that? Then that's how we came with the idea of Moto House, and that's how Moto House was born. And under Moto House, we decided to do something unique. So what we did was that we are the very few OEMs where we have a combination of both ICE as well as EV under the same roof. I don't think so many brands are doing that. And so that's how we decided to get Brixton Motorcycles, which is an Austrian motorcycle brand, and VLF, or you could say popularly it's known as Velocifero in the global market. So that's particularly an EV brand. So we got these two brands, and the Moto House was born as a retail brand. So if you see all our showrooms across India are Moto House showrooms. So Moto House is a retail brand, and under Moto House we have gotten these two brands, an ICE and an EV brand.
EV brand. Yeah. My question was, when I saw it for the first time, like two very different segment markets being launched at the same venue was a very different experience.
Yeah.
On one side, you have fire-breathing dragons, like I would say, especially for the Cromwell. And on the other side, you have something like a VLF tennis that is, it's a very different space altogether. Why the two-heart philosophy for Moto House? Like, doesn't it open up to you for more competition, or does it give you more opportunity? Like, how do you see the two-heart philosophy here?
I think it is both ways. As you said, there is so much of competition in the EV segment right now, because I think every manufacturer is getting some of the other products in the EV segment. The whole intention of getting an ICE and an EV brand under Moto House was that not only, so of course our main intention was to get these global brands and make it accessible to the audience, but secondly we also wanted to make sure that our partners, our dealer partners are also profitable, in ways that we have an EV brand which basically takes care of their operation costs of the showroom, and of course getting a product which is different, which stands out. Because Velocifero, if you see, Italians are known for the design, and we wanted to get an electric scooter which stands out particularly in terms of design. So that's how we decided to get this particular EV brand to India. And of course, answering your question, there is competition, there is tons of competition, but then we really want to take small steps and start small, have the right dealer partners, build a good network, get products which the audience would really appreciate or would love. And that's we have. It's a very simple strategy that we have. We don't want to make it too complicated.
Which one is your favorite bike out of the whole Brixton family right now, personally?
If you ask me, I think the 500XC and I have two favorite bikes. So
Okay.
500XC and the Cromwell, of course.
Why and why?
I think 500XC is a bike which is perfect for our Indian roads. So it's a multi-purpose bike. You can take it for light off-roading. You can use it for your highway cruising. You can use it for your city riding. It's not heavy. It's easy to maneuver, and so that's why I like the XC particularly. It has good big chunky wheels, Pirelli Scorpion tires, tubeless of course, spoke. So riding posture is very comfortable. And the second one, of course, the Cromwell 1200. So if I really want to go on the highway, so that's the bike that I would choose because of the power that it has. I think it's close to 105 Nm of torque at just 3000 RPM. So it really pushes you back. I think you did ride the bike.
Yes.
So you would be a better person to
Like,
talk about the bike.
the only thing I can say that it had such a bad boy attitude that I don't know. I just fell in love. It was
Absolutely. We delivered the first bike, in fact, recently to R. Madhavan, who is
yes.
a famous Bollywood actor. So even he told me that, Tushar, you should have a warning message that comes up before we turn on the sports mode. Because when he took the bike out for a ride, he started with the sports mode.
okay.
And he was like taken aback.
Huh.
So he didn't expect that kind of
Yeah,
power
torque
coming out of
to
the bike.
hit him. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it should come with a label. I think you should put it somewhere on your brochure.
We will.
Because I think this caution is a bigger caution than most KTM cautions that come. You don't expect that from that motorcycle. But how about we have a setup change and we take the rest of the conversation somewhere else?
Absolutely.
What do you say?
Definitely.
We will not be going to any other part of his house, rest assured, but we'll be going to an interesting location. Yeah, hi again. After a lot of traveling from that location, we have reached here and we are still near the ocean and sea, sorry. We are still near the sea and it's pretty phenomenal. This road has quite a few winding. It's amazing to have a motorcycle on these roads. It's narrow, it's full of winds and curves and you get to feel what the motorcycle is all about. And yeah, like, again, let me come back to the suspension and the sticky tires. They have been a boon and they have been taking hard hits on the road. But then it's not a complete scrambler, if I'm being honest, because in one of the conversations we had uncovered that, the feature list on this motorcycle is a little bit of an issue where you will not be able to pair your smartphone to your motorcycle. Now, I'm the last guy who actually pairs all of these things and gets all the hassle. If I have a map to see, I'll just, take out my map and see it because I'll be connected over Bluetooth anyway. But then if you don't like that hassle and if you do want connected tech in your life, now this little thing is the Beline Moto 2. Now, I'll show you B-rolls and tell you all the features there is into it. And I think a voiceover after this will probably take that over. But then for now, all I can say is I've been really enjoying the way this thing shows its map. And the one thing, let's say, drawback that this motorcycle had in terms of just feature list is now completely over for me because this works brilliantly well. We were in Anuskara Ghat, we lost network, but I did not lose my GPS location. If you were on your phone, you would have lost it because I have done that thing again before. So it was really amazing to see that, even though my smartphone is connected to this, the GPS on this was not lost. It told me exactly where I was and which road to take. It also comes with an application where you can see a lot of other information like your top speed, your average speed, your distance covered, yada, 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 the whole thing. I'll let my VO take over when I have to talk about features because I'm the journalist who doesn't read brochures. Anyway, I think with this small, Apple Watch sort of a situation, it becomes a complete scrambler. And what else do you need? I mean, I'm happy. We still have a fort to go. It's somewhere there. And from there, we'll be moving on to a very treacherous route, which is famously known as the Route 66. We were there on it before. We'll be joining it again. It's a very treacherous and in repair situation kind of a highway. So we'll be taking the most of it. And the scrambler hasn't been wrong anywhere. It hasn't given me unfaithful emotions that I would want, and I'm really happy on this trip. But then this trip is just halfway done. So with that said, I'll let you enjoy these and I'll finish this. And here's the promised view. The Beline Moto 2 has super easy buttons to use with the interface, anti-glare display, versatile mounting options, compass mode, speedometer, and an application that will open you to a plethora of data points that the Moto 2 picks up as you are on the road. Not only that, it is very easy to attach and detach your Moto 2 from your motorcycle. Moreover, this can be used on any motorcycle and is exclusively available at Moto House. But the fun begins when we take random detours and find ourselves riding on pristine beaches. Then we headed back to our treacherous highway, where the motorcycle was yet again pushed hard to show us what it had underneath that beautiful retro design. The engine was never stressed. It had the perfect gear option for whichever speed you were in without giving off much vibrations through the chassis. The chassis, an honest one. It doesn't need much electronics to help the rider be at peace with the chassis. It is sturdy, forgiving on the heavier side, but not too heavy that you can't play around with it. So it is a very stable chassis to say the least. The brakes do help a lot and are quite strong. All in all, a sturdy motorcycle that was perfectly humming to whatever I had to throw at it. But where was it all being made? To find that out, I broke into another place. And we have changed positions, sir, surprisingly. And now we are at the home ground, Kohlapur's base. And wow, what an experience to be here inside the showroom. It looks like a studio, but this is a showroom after all. So we had visited your plant and we have seen a glimpse of how these things come alive here, as you can see. So we wanted to know, like, how do you see the infrastructure is at the back end? Like, what do you see the hopes of the entire infrastructure that you have created?
So we've basically divided this project into two phases. So phase one, where you had been to the factory. So that is the phase one factory. It's spread across 1 acre. And the current production capacity that we have over there is close to 25 to 30,000 vehicles annually. As I mentioned earlier, we would like to take small and gradual steps. Our first phase one plan is to have close to 15 to 20 Moto House retail outlets across all major cities in India. I think out of which we already opened four outlets. We're opening a 5th outlet tomorrow in Goa as we speak.
Oh, okay.
And so the current capacity that we have and what the projection that we have is considering the phase one plan. Of course, we've already acquired a land parcel, a bigger land parcel. So once we have a sizable amount of market share, particularly for the VLF and Brixton, of course, then we would be kickstarting our phase two plans, where we'll be focusing more on localization of the parts, because since Kohlapur here, the advantage that we have is that most of the foundries and the factories around Kohlapur, they are auto component manufacturers. Okay. So if you see, they are supplying to all major OEMs in Pune, Gujarat, Hyderabad, Telangana, etc. So etc. So the advantage that we have in Kohlapur again is that, of course, since we are the first OEMs, that is one thing. But leaving that aside, for our expansion plans, we have that infrastructure that we need. So if we want to do some more localization on VLF particularly. Right now, the VLF scooter, it's almost, we have localized majority of the components. So the battery, tires, charger, we have sourced from top local vendors in India. For Brixton, at the moment, we have not gone into any localization for these 500cc's and the 1200cc's because we don't want to compromise on the quality. So what you see right now here, or what that's going to be sold in India is something what's similar getting sold in the global market.
Okay.
So there's no compromise on the hardware, there's no compromise on the quality. What is there in the global platform is what you're getting.
They're available for us.
Yeah.
So how do you aggressively market yourselves? Like, because we have seen with the example of the Cromwell, like it's a very achievable price point that you have entered in, and especially with a very aggressive price point for the VLF tennis as well.
Yeah.
How do you make it possible when there are so many big players in the market who are trying to get the, the price segment down so much?
Right.
How do you get there?
I think so. This work has been a work of almost 3-4 years. We jointly worked with Brixton VLF in deciding what products we have to get to the Indian market. Because if you see on a global platform, Brixton has more than 17 motorcycles. We have motorcycles right from 125cc up till 1200cc. Similarly, for Velocifer or VLF, if you see, they have a lot of products in the global portfolio. They have kick scooters, they have electric motorcycles, they have scooters. So we decided that which product to get to India first. That was the first plan of action. Where is the gap in the market currently? Because that is something which we really need to understand as to where the gap is. Because today, I think the motorcycle market is flooded with options. So the consumers are really spoiled. They have not 1, 2, they have 10, 15 options. Maybe earlier, 5-6 years back, they had a few options when they went into premium motorcycling. But right now, they have many options. So if we really had to launch Brixton in India, we had to create a differentiator. And of course, India being a price-sensitive market, I think all the manufacturers, for them, the price is the most important key factor for their success in India. Of course, product is definitely there, but since our market is price-sensitive, we wanted to get a product that was supposed to be a price-sensitive product in terms of particularly what we are offering for the 1200. If you see, today we have created a benchmark for the 1200cc. So we're giving a 1200cc bike probably at a cost of a 600 or an 800cc bike. So that we have made that segment more accessible to the aspirational or the mature riders who really want to have a litter class bike at an accessible price. Similarly for VLF, if I want to say, I think same like Brixton, what is being sold on the global platform is what is that we've got to India. So this is one of the lightest scooters in the market. We're the only ones who are offering an aluminium double-sided swing arm. So in a single casting. So that makes the scooter mere 88 kilos with the battery. So if you see, it's very easy to operate in the city. We have not cluttered the scooter with unnecessary features. We have given the features only that are being used or required from a day-to-day perspective of a consumer. So it has a decent range of 130 plus kilometers on a single charge. We've given a removable battery, again, which is a plus point. I think most of the competitors of ours are not having is that a removable battery. So that is something which we have. We have given one of the largest tires in the segment, so that really adds on to the how the way the scooter looks
really chunky tires.
Absolutely,
one of the chunkiest I've seen on a scooter.
So chunky tires. And again, most importantly, the design, the way the scooter looks. So I'm sure if you take it on the road, you'll have 10 people asking you or turning their heads and looking at the scooter.
Absolutely, and this has been done quite tastefully, if I must say. So you have the Brixton, the Roadster. You have the Scrambler. When's the ADV coming out?
I get this question so many, so wherever I go, I'm getting asked as to when the ADV of Brixton is going to come. Well, we don't have an exact date as of now, but what I can assure you is that it's going to come this year. So, yeah. So the store definitely would be coming this year. We are currently in the testing phase of the bike. I would not say much about it, but all I can say is that it is going to come this year.
And I hope and wish you the very best with both the products.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And with that said, am I allowed to thrash your bike a little?
Absolutely, it's all yours.
Cut it! By the end, the sun started to go down and the route only started to get tougher. The roads were slowly slowing down, and after nearly 600 kilometers of riding, the force of the travel started to show on the body. But to be fair, it was very refreshing to do the journey on the Brixton Crossfire 500XC. The tractability of the engine was so good that the last thing on my mind was about being on the right gear at the right RPM or at the right speed. The tires were giving me grip everywhere. So All I had to do was do the riding part till the air became more difficult to breathe, telling me that I was close to Bombay. After battling everything that the roads had to offer, I finally came home. The motorcycle survived everything the unknown roads had to throw at us. It took my tantrums as well, and I never felt I had a lack of power. All in all, it is a truly honest motorcycle that has taken us to places I have never seen before, and at the same time has got me home without much complaint. What more can I say? All that was left for me was to try and give you a few final words, exhausted, tired, but with a bag full of memories that will remain with me forever. So guys, we finally made it to Bombay. I know it's night, I know we took a little time, but then that's what happens when you kind of shoot and want to explore at the same time. But God, what an exploration day. What an exploration day, I cannot imagine. The roads were freaking beautiful. Some of them were untouched. Some of them we didn't know ourselves, and yeah, it's Bombay. And it was really amazing to find out those locations, have that, peace of heart while exploring the coastal region of India. And yeah, the Brixton never failed. I am truly surprised by how much beating this bike can take. And I have put it through some beating, and I think Route 66 has put it through some beating as well. Well, in all that case, all I have to say that the love of exploration is still within a motorcyclist like me, and because of products like this, the love of exploration can be availed by anyone, and it can be enjoyed at the same time. Well, with all those final words, I would like to bid you farewell. Thank you so much for watching Top Gear India. And if you do like more of our content, please like, share and subscribe. And last but not the least, since we are in Bombay, let me inhale all the AQI and all the bad smell and all the people and everything. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was in Kohlapur, and right now I wish I was on those coastal roads, and I wish I had the Brixton Crossfire XC with me, because wow, what a motorcycle, what a motorcycle. It's rudimentary in some ways, but then the characteristics of the motorcycle just wins me over. And I know the exploration, the love of exploration was a little less in me. I did not want to, go out on motorcycles and go on long routes. But at the end of the day, here I am, finishing around 600, 650 odd kilometers, pristine roads, pristine tarmac, horrible roads, horrible tarmac, but the motorcycle prevails. Thank you so much for watching again, and I bid you farewell.